What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. The photo op of the Ceto call by the kids with Nolan Wells. Let's talk about it. So, the first picture that we saw that was going across the internet was a picture of the kids on a boat with a leg hanging off the side. That picture, if it is real, everyone believed that to be Nolan Wells having already died. Now, there's another photo making its way across the internet with the kids on the boat when allegedly the phone call to Ceto was actually happening in real time. And that photo with that leg is no longer there. And they're saying that this is proof or evidence that Nolan wasn't on the boat. Here's the issue. Nobody has said the photo with the leg off the boat is fake. It's artificially enhanced. It's edited. It's cropped. It's added to. That's the first issue. The second issue is whoever took the photo was also on a boat. So how hard or difficult would it have been to take Nolan Wells off that boat and put him onto the other boat and then pose for a picture? You know, the audio, if it's real, it specifically states talking about all the rest of the situation and information. Oh my God, he's dead. Bart this and wake up, Nolan, and all the rest of this stuff, right? I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but the way it seems to me is we have a lot of people that could be potentially involved in the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. And I understand that you're going to see a lot of people come out who want to support the narrative that these kids are innocent. And I hope to God they are. And, it's very unfortunate what happened to Nolan Wells. But, looking at all the information in the situation for what it is, if these kids are liable based off of direct or indirect action, as well as direct or indirect response for trying to initiate some type of support or first aid, that's a whole nother story. Because again, you're talking about 8 to 10 kids. You're talking about judges and doctors and members of the criminal justice system, all co-conspirators to try to cover up a death of a kid, when it's already been definitively proven, that, according to two witnesses, as you guys like to say, evidence, witnesses are evidence. I don't think witnesses are evidence, but two individuals have already said that they were drinking alcohol. And Nolan Wells was drunk to the point that he was inebriated, slurring his words. So a crime is already occurring by kids drinking under the age. That's already a crime. Drinking and boating is also a crime. So there's two crimes happening simultaneously. And the death of Nolan Wells is the whopper. And, again, the first photo has a leg hanging off the side of the boat. It appears to be the same boat. The second photo, everybody's posed up for the picture. It's a good catalog Sears moment. JCPenney special. And again, I'm not saying it's definitive. I'm not saying this is exactly the case. But again, if you had some type of idea and understanding that somebody's dead and you could be responsible, or you were responsible, or you didn't call for help or effort, etc., 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 and you already had it in your mindset that you weren't going to call for help and you weren't going to go get help or call for the Coast Guard, or etc., etc., it's not difficult to believe that you would continue to go above and beyond to make sure you covered your tracks. And again, it's not that difficult to transition or transfer Nolan's body from one boat to the other and then take another photo, because at the time right now is, if the audio was correct, then that picture that was taken about the kids, on the phone, that could technically not be the official phone call being made. That could just be, a picture having been taken uh, after the phone call was made, or it could be a picture being taken by an individual actually not making the phone call. The phone call could have been made by somebody else, and again, this could just be a photo op. So again, this isn't definitive, but when you guys start talking about theories, when you're talking about conspiracies, you're talking about possibilities, you know, this is why we have the capacity of freedom of speech and we have the capacity of TikTok. If it wasn't for TikTok, we wouldn't even be able to communicate with each other. And this is why I said before is, um, if it wasn't really for President Trump, we wouldn't even have the capacity to have conversation like this, to be able to communicate with like this. It would be, complete control. It would be Nazi Germany, to where they controlled all information, and the only thing you could do is turn on your TV and just digest what they told you. We wouldn't even have the capacity to have our own soapbox. So again, you guys keep talking about, oh man, Donald Trump's bad, but if it wasn't for Trump, man, we wouldn't even be able to voice our own opinions and unite as Americans, regardless if you were, Team Tatum or Team Crump. The reality of the situation is, no matter if you think these kids were right, if they're wrong, if they did it, if they didn't, we wouldn't even have the capacity to share our voice and voice our opinion and point out inconsistencies and engage in these issues, because this is really showing all Americans where everybody stands, and how unified we are, how divided we are, and who has a certain perspective or mindset when it comes to looking at something subjectively or objectively. So when you guys are going out trying to figure out what's going on in the world, you guys need to give thanks for the people who actually gave you the opportunity to have the ability to voice your opinion, and that's President Trump. Those are Chinese Americans. Those are Jewish Americans. Those are German Americans. Go look at the people who, have controlling share and majority operation of TikTok, because at the end of the day, these are the individuals who are safeguarding and keeping your First Amendment rights alive.